Welcome back to the Sundays with Wendy podcast, Monica.
Hi, how are you?
I am great. This is maybe third or fourth episode that we have done together.
Correct. Yes.
You and I have done a lot of work together over the years. The story goes, I came to see you very shortly after Ben died, and you helped me. You were my meditation coach, really, back then, but things have evolved. And now we are doing some programming together through the foundation. And so I have just loved to see this relationship flourish and share this meaningful work.
Yes, I
Mhm.
agree with you. Yes, it's been a beautiful, beautiful friendship now, right? That's thank you so much. Yes.
Well, for anyone new or hasn't listened to some of the older podcasts, tell us a little bit about your work.
Okay, so it takes me back 15 years ago, 2010, when I had a near-death experience that really changed the course of my life. What it did in that process, I won't go into the depths of it because you can watch some of my previous episodes that we've done together with Sundays with Wendy. But that experience really transformed my whole life and has also really helped others, uh, help them shift their lives from where they were, whether they were in pain or to illness or just not living a full life, to help each one through this ability that came to me. That's a channeling ability that I am able to now connect with the divine light that I was thrust into back then. And that same light came back into me. And that now is the driving force that leads me to helping other people find themselves, but also live their life to the fullest potential. So that's what I do in essence. So I'm a spiritual life coach, meditation coach, and I also am a intuitive transformative healer. I guess that's what people will call me. Yes, yes.
When I've seen your work in action with groups, you did a community event for us a few years back, which was very well received. And just recently, we partnered on a caregiver episode where you did a live channeling session, which was amazing.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And as you mentioned, yes, I do oftentimes also fuse in art, and that's my first background. I was a trained commercial artist slash graphic designer, and then I paint and I have shows and things like that. But what I've tended to do more recently is to be fusing the art and the healing together. I think this is a very dynamic duo, and it helps everybody on so many different levels.
So interesting that you say that because you also put on a full day art and meditation retreat. And this was in 2019. And I got a group of my girlfriends and
Yeah.
we drove to Richmond. And that was the first time I had really ex- explored art other than what classes you take in, elementary school. I've told this story before, but I think it's worth repeating. I remember we did some meditation and then we all did some art and I sat down and we had just a blank canvas and I pulled a couple colors and I pulled some teal and I started with some metallics and I was messing around and there was chalk and some tools and I remember whatever I created I was like, "Oh, that's really really pretty." And you walked by, you just very gently said, "You need a little color." And I was all right. So I grabbed the teal and I messed around with that. And then I was like, "Oh, this looks better." And then you came around and said, "You need some texture." Then I kind of got in this trance or now I
Yeah.
could say maybe more meditative state. And I was not thinking at all. I was just doing. And then I kind of lost track of time. And then at some point I just put everything down and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is more beautiful than I would have ever thought I could create." And my friend Jill was not on this trip, but they were all at my house for dinner and I had hung it on the wall and she walked over and was mesmerized. And so she has loved this painting since the day she saw it. And actually, I brought it to the community event we did. And I remember she said to me, "Keep that safe. Do not mess it up." And so I knew in my heart I would give it to her one day. So she was building a house over the last year. So just yesterday, I went to see her house and I gave it to her as a housewarming gift. I just loved watching her love it.
That's beautiful. It's such a beautiful story and so, so true. And, that experience that we had together with you and so many others, you were all left in a trance as we did the healing meditation on everyone, channeled healing into you and brought you to a state of no mind. and just living from the heart and creating from the heart. And this is the
Mhm.
topic of our work together, of our conversation together is about shifting from head to heart. And this is in action. What you just shared with everybody is what we did in action and
Mhm.
how we can actually live life in this space. The space. We, of course, did it through art. But if we can do it through art, we can do it through music, through dance,
Mhm.
through living life fully as well. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing this beautiful story, and what a great gift to Jill that she received your first creation, right? Filled with wonderful energy.
And I've continued since then. I've done 7 or 8, and I've passed another one along. What I experience is they are seeing something very pure and
Yes.
connecting with it. And I think it's
Yes.
because I was allowing myself to be in the purest state when I created it. And to see that they see it and appreciate it.
It's just very heartwarming, Wendy, to hear that when you did that uh, the retreat with us, that it was your very first time after school art lessons that you actually started doing that. And now look at you, you're doing so much more with that first initiation, and now you've just taken off. And that is the beauty of this work, is to see everybody, coming at the level that they are. And just by a little bit of sort of almost like updating or shedding more, I think it's more about shedding the fears, or I cannot do something, or overthinking, or being too much of a perfectionist, or shedding those inhibitions and creating from a space of no mind, where the mind is not engaged, and you're just operating from the purity, as you said, the pure space that we know as is your heart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other one I passed along, I was doing it when I was living in the high rise, and it's not always a beautiful process in creating it. Usually, I layer it, and then sometimes I, like, start over. I'll start again with a white paint and keep going. Sometimes it's really in the depths of all the layers that the beauty comes out, but I remember one I wanted to throw down the trash chute. I was like, "I'm done with this," and I put it down, and then I went back to it, and it just turned into something really cool.
It is beautiful. And that's just how we are as human beings as well. We all have, our experiences that we bring to our life, childhood experiences, traumas, sometimes things we've done wrong, or that we think we've done wrong. And these are the different layers. And that's why I think when we were working together for the first time and creating that piece, energies would tell me, ask her to add more layers, ask her, because each of those layers adds more depth, but it also adds more beauty. Because,
Mm,
just like what is it, the Japanese creation, they do these ceramics, and when the ceramics crack, they actually don't throw it. Like, some of us might just throw it out. They actually rebuild, they add the pieces together, and they apply a gold ink or a gold paint to it. And what is it called? I forget the name now, but I've seen those pieces and I almost want to go buy those more than the perfectly created ones. The
mhm,
handmade, there's something to do with the handmade. And I think what we like about the handmade nature of projects or creations that we have is because it has so much of character in them
mhm,
that we oftentimes want to shun within ourselves as well. We think, oh my gosh, I'm broken, or oh, I've made this mistake, or someone has done this to me. But you are a conglomeration of all of that, and all of the goodness
mhm.
is hiding beneath all of those many layers. And once we can get to that place, we're unstoppable. It's amazing.
When I was first experiencing being in that meditative state, it like I only can use the word pure. And then
Yeah.
you just want to be in that space more. So
Yes.
I think what you do a really good job of is teaching people how to be comfortable in that space.
Yeah.
It's accessible to everyone.
Yes.
I can at least speak to my experience with you. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. You said to me, we had started working together. You said, Wendy, you only need your analytical mind for work. And at first, that was very jarring. Uh,
Mhm.
It took me a while to play with that a little bit. And
Mhm.
I always have had this very deep intuitive side, but to really kind of drop into the heart when I was making decisions. It's easy to make a decision based on experience or work environment or uh, a checklist. And I wouldn't push any of that away. That was always still part of the equation. But what I did is allow the heart centered space to come in.
Right.
I would just make some room and then you feel it, right? Then I could feel a decision, like, I would think about what my options were, and if it felt kind of constricted,
Mhm.
I knew that that may not be the best one, but it felt open if I thought about a decision. Like something very simple, like ordering a salad versus soup. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be a big, huge decision. It could be, okay, I think I could get the butternut squash soup, or I could get the chef salad, but go with
Mhm.
the one that feels freer and more open. And so that, I
Mhm.
think, is what I started doing, and time again. Every time I did that, things started to open up, other things started to fall away. And so I think that was what really kind of shifted things for me during that time.
Yeah, beautiful way to describe some of the things that I think each one of us has
Mhm,
within oneself. The innate ability to connect with our inner wisdom. I think we all have this from the time we're little,
mhm,
and many you might have heard of many stories where infants and younger toddlers even, they seem to just use their inner guidance systems far more, and they'll say, and the way you would know that that's what you're doing is you use your word rather than saying, I think, blah, 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 dot, 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 I feel so
mm,
and so. And if you listen to kids talking, they say, I don't want to do this because I don't feel like doing it.
mhm.
That's every time they say, I
Mhm,
don't feel like doing it, that means they're tapping into their inner wisdom. It's just telling them that, okay, mom says this, dad says this, but it may not be to my highest good. So even if they're saying this, I don't feel like doing it because they're listening to their inner gut instinct. And that's what I want to really stress upon today is that we each have this ability. Some of us use it more than others. Like Wendy, you just talked about how you started playing with it in the beginning just for simple things. And then the more you play with it, the deeper the ability gets. Just like that, I urge everybody on this platform, whoever's listening to it, is that you find ways in which you can get out of the mind, the thinking mind, the analytical mind, as Wendy put it earlier. That we tend to reason a lot, we tend to be more logical, we tend to think about this and that. The mind also is focused on always being this space like a tool that constantly wants to nix problems. We are seeking, it's almost like it seeks the problems out in every situation, whether it's there or not there. It finds a problem. So I always tell my clients is, if you're looking for a problem, you'll find not one, but maybe 30 others. If you're looking for solutions, then you'll also find solutions. So it's about reframing your mind. And it's the mind that has been created from eons. We're not only talking about this lifetime, but previous lifetimes, and just how the human race has evolved from the time when humans first took presence on earth, right from that time period where they were faced, or we were faced as a human race, by these ferocious animals. I think it's so much instilled in ourselves, so to speak, that we're used to just living life from a fight or flight state. And so many people are just like conditioned to constantly find problems and constantly put out fires, and they live life like that. So you can do that, and you can use that, as you said, when we need it. But if you're living life all the time in a state of defense,
mhm,
defensive, or being resistant to something, that keeps us constantly away from this innate ability that we have, and living life from the mind versus living life from the heart. And so my work has always been around head to heart transition. And I've been doing this, as you know, with our time together too. We've been doing this almost like, 10, 15 years. I've been doing this work. And there are a bunch of clients I've been working on for a good many years, and
mhm,
they're finally getting it. It's so amazing when it, like almost like a light bulb turns on. I now know, Monica, what you've been telling us all along.
mhm,
Finally, I get it, because the decisions that come from the heart are very different. It's almost like if you look at, as an artist, if I look at color,
mhm,
I will see the heart as if it's like a diamond that is shining, shimmering, has all the colors of the palette in that diamond. And coincidentally, this is what I saw out of the body as well when I had the near death experience and I was sent into the light. Even though the light was white, And that's the, pure essence, the purity. There also was, as if it's emerging from that white light, all these many, many colors showing up like a diamond glistening.
Mhm.
And that's what I feel every time I'm operating from the heart. And some of the clients I've been working on, they'll sometimes will say, I can now sort of see it. Maybe I'm scratching the surface, but I kind of see where you're coming from and what you're talking about, because we see everything in this place. And the light that shines through, it's almost like this wisdom that comes through at every given point, and we have access to it. And many of the times people will say, Monica, only you can do this and I can't. And I'm thinking, no, no,
Mhm.
no, 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 no. That's why I'm here to explain to all of you and to teach you all that you all have these innate abilities. It's like a chip that has been instilled in you when
Mhm.
you took birth on this earth.
Mhm.
And that chip, it requires some massaging.
Mhm.
And the more you pay attention to it, the more it speaks loudly and more loudly and more loudly. You literally have to learn to switch your mind off. Turn that mind off first, the beginning. And after you turn it off completely, then we're able to integrate the mind and the heart together. So it brings about a sense of unity and coherence.
Mhm.
It's about infusing them together so that then you can use your mind when you need it and you use your heart pretty much all the time,
Mm.
right? So the mind then becomes like a tool, like a computer. You use it when you need it, but you don't use it all the time and when you live all the time. So for those of you who are out there and wondering, how do you know if you're operating from your mind, or how do you know if you're operating from the heart? Wendy, I'll ask you this question. How would you know if you are operating from the mind and the heart? It can be very confusing. Everybody says, but I felt that I was using my mind because I felt an emotion there. So what I've told people repeatedly is that you can have an emotion from the mind as well,
Mhm.
but it's a different kind, it's a different
It is
frequency,
so
right?
different. I think that, like, I said it before, like, you have to play around with it and kind of feel what it is. Like, if a thought comes in to me,
Uh-huh.
if it is very fast and erratic and almost like shaky, I know it's probably not my heart, it's my head.
Yes.
But if it comes in and I receive it easily and the action doesn't feel strained, there's a frequency about it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like urgent, like I have to do it right that second. It's just like, "Oh, okay." And then it just starts to take form kind of on its own. So that's how I've learned, or my experience in playing with more of a heart-centered approach
Yeah.
versus the mind is can be very erratic and not
Yeah.
calm.
Right. And then I'll add to more of what you just shared is all of what Wendy said true. And when you are operating from the mind, or when the mind is sort of taking precedence, it sometimes will give you a feeling of threat. Like if
Mhm,
you don't do this, dot, 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 or it's usually coming from a space of fear. It's
mhm,
fear based. That's classic mind operation is when the decisions that you make really come from a space of fear,
mhm,
or somewhere where you're guarding yourself, you're emotionally more guarded, or you feel more like sort of wanting to, maybe ego centered,
mhm,
ego centered, where the ego is like, I'm more powerful. Or if you're working with another person, if you're in your mind, if you want to supersede somebody and push somebody else down, that definitely is coming from a space of mind.
mhm,
But then the heart would be, just to add to what you said, is usually when you're operating from the heart and you're, working with a group of people, or maybe just one person, maybe you're just having a discussion and the discussion's going south. When you're operating from the heart, you're always going to see at it from a space of how is it going to be a win-win for both, not
mm,
just for me, but for both of us, or all of us together, because you're operating then not from a space of fear where it may be that they're taking something away from you, but more like it's coming from a space of love and
mhm,
compassion and empathy and passion, where everybody stands to gain, so that that loving energy goes to somebody. So I'll give you an example. I remember some time ago, I was working with a woman who had a really difficult relationship with her mother-in-law. And she came for a session once with me in person. She was there and she said, well, every time I have this meeting, a family meeting, my mother-in-law, and I think I like her, but she always treats me so the state of disrespect, and she doesn't treat me in a kind way. And I'm just done with her. And every time I go to her, I'm trying to want her so much to like me and love me, but it always goes south and I don't know what to do. And I said, don't worry about it. We'll get you to that place. We'll get you to the place where you'll go in there completely from your heart. We're going to work with your heart. We're going to work with your heart energetically to bring it to a place where when you're around her or anybody else where you have a disagreement with somewhere, we always are in situations where sometimes, not every time, but there may be conflict between two people, two individuals or something like that. So how do we work with these people in such a way that the conflict might be there, but it's not about me being more powerful than you or you being more powerful than me, but more about us looking at it from an equal state.
Mm-hmm.
So energetically, we were able to, the energies, when we say we are talking about the divine energies that are doing this work through my body, that is a conduit. I'm just a spectator. By God's grace, I'm a spectator because I'm just watching what's happening in this space. And energetically, we were able to balance some of those energies that were coming from her mind and her heart. And sometimes the mind, she feels like she's operating from the heart, but sometimes the mind takes over. And eventually she went there. What happened was we put her in a place where she felt a deeper connection with her heart. That's what happened, is we were able to dissociate the mind, which might have come in the way and created fear for her. And every time you sense fear, you quickly go into the mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we all can remember. Every time we feel that that there's something happening, oh my gosh, somebody doesn't like me, or we start to wonder where they are coming from. And someone thinks that their worth is reliant on what somebody else thinks of them. That's again going into the mind. So where we send her off is we send her to the place of the heart where she's only operating from the heart. So only feelings that she could feel for her mother-in-law was simple love.
Mm-hmm.
So in that love state, anything else that, even if they tried to inject something into us, remember though, we talked about frequency earlier. Love is the highest frequency. If you are always operating from the state of love in every situation, no matter how somebody treats you, that is the best way to
Mm-hmm.
go about any situation. You will notice instantly that all their guards will be dropped down.
Mm-hmm.
I live it, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
When I've been around people, time and time again, there was another example of, there was a woman some time ago, not this community, some other community, where she had done a lot of things that she knew that were wrong. And she knew that I could read her, which I can. So I was reading her and she was able to feel that every time she would be around me, she would run away. One time she was put in a space where we couldn't run away because we were locked on either sides. And I was faced with her. She was faced in front of me. And I got this message that said, go to her. This woman who runs away, right? But I was told by the energies told me, go to her. And
Mm-hmm.
go to her, not only go to her and embrace her. And in the beginning, her body tightened up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just stayed there. I just had love coming out of my body. I just stayed there and I just kept holding her. She was trying to wriggle her way out. And I just held her like that. And
Mm-hmm.
after a point, I actually felt that when I let go, she was holding on.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that in my body. And then later somebody asked me, do you think that was sincere? And I said, yes, it was. It was an old connection, And
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, that loving energy was so palpable that I left my hands. I wasn't embracing, but she was holding tight. And it was just a turning point at that time that, yes, this is the truth. This is the truth. We are love. We are love. Not that we have to experience love. We
Mm-hmm.
are it.
Mm-hmm.
Love makes the world go round. There is a truth to that. That's what we need. We need to infuse that loving energy in every aspect of this life, in this world. We need to infuse that. And if you wonder that how can one person make a difference?
Mm-hmm.
One person can make tremendous difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's that one person, it's like one candle. Even if the candle is so tiny and the flame is so big, candle is tiny, but that one flame can light your flame. You light 20 other flames,
Mm-hmm.
and that they light others. It can just spread through the entire globe
Mm.
and universes, not just universe, but universes. That's what it takes. If each one of us can effectively transition from the mind to the heart, that's what it takes.
Mhm.
It's going to change the world for the better. I just know it. That's what we need at this point.
And it really is a responsibility that we have to ourselves. You
Yes.
know, if I'm gonna go into a difficult situation, I'm gonna show up and hold my frequency, and then it becomes less about my expectations. So I'm just gonna go and show up, and that's it.
Yes.
And that's all you can do. And so it really has taken my level of expectation of others down.
Yes.
Sometimes those things take a very long time to work through, and sometimes they don't work through. So there is that side of it too. I think the ability for us to show up in our purest sense of love is that's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
It's enough.
It is enough, as we all know, and through ancient wisdom and so many cultures, so many religions talk about it time and time and time again. Is that is the soul, that resides, that the soul is you.
Mhm,
It's the mind that makes us feel that we are disconnected from the soul, but the soul is us. In truest essence, our work, this divine work that we do, that Monica does time and time and time again, it's always been about showing every individual, every person, every soul, reminding them that they are that essence. Because the mind is the one that's the culprit, that really is like the enemy that
mhm,
shifts us away from what is, that we are. We are it. We cannot make you be something. You just
mhm,
are it.
mhm,
What we are removing is the layers that has kept you away from the truest you.
mhm,
And that journey can take time. It can take lifetimes.
mhm,
It actually can take lifetimes, but if we don't start it now, the journey will be so long that, who knows how long. But now is the time, and I think it's within ourselves. It's almost like a call, a charge that the divine gives us time and time again, that we've got to find ourselves. The self actualization is a necessity, it's imperative. It's not something that maybe I'll do it, but it's something we've got to do it.
mhm,
It's for our highest good. And so this work is about that, really, really about showing a mirror into you, who you are. Who are you? Sometimes you don't know because the mind has tricked you into believing something else. But that's why we need to work with calming the mind down. And that's what happens in this work is we go step by step into calming the mind to really, really saying, okay, all these thoughts you're sending to me, I'm hearing you, but I'm not listening to you.
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
hearing you. It's a big difference. I'm hearing what you're saying, giving you attention enough so that you don't persist and don't keep crowding my space with unnecessary things that don't support me.
mhm,
So I'm going to listen and I'm going to let you go.
mhm,
I'm not neglecting you. I'm listening to you in a sense, but I'm not going to absorb it. I'm just going to listen to you, hear it, and let it go.
mhm,
That's the extent to which the mind functions. But the heart is the biggest, it's almost like an expansive place. A lot of the times when you do meditation, and hopefully we can do a little bit today, is about how we can really feel our hearts expanding.
mhm,
And those of us who have done this work time and time again will say, my gosh, I can actually feel, Monica, I can feel my heart expanding. And it's expanding so much that my body doesn't feel like the body anymore, because the body is made up of energy too.
mhm,
It just feels more solid because our mind has perceived it to be more like a matter, because we live in a materialistic paradigm. Everything in this world is kind of on a matter based. That's what
mhm,
we learned back in science. Three states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. That's our foundation. That's what we've been taught. We've been conditioned like that. So we see everything as in a three-dimensional space,
mhm,
life like that. But the more we can really, really dissociate from that thinking, even if you're a lone ranger, the one that's standing, and that's how I was for a very long time. Nobody could understand the nuggets of wisdom that were coming through. That's through the channeling process,
mhm.
which happened automatically. I didn't, get up one day, say, hey, I want to be a healer. No, it just happened. It just came to me. And this beautiful way in which it came, forever I feel like I'm in service to the divine,
Mhm,
in disseminating this knowledge, and this, not even the knowledge, this wisdom
mhm.
that helps each one light their own inner flame.
Yeah.
You're just going to light it. It's already lit, but we're going to make it even bigger, make it more bombastic, more bigger, so that then we affect others in the same way that we are growing.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of reaching, awareness or self-awareness,
Mhm.
is that when we are aware, then we stimulate more awareness for other people as well.
That's what I find. Now you teased us with a little, possible channel today. Is that something that we could do?
Absolutely, absolutely. Whenever you're ready, but yes, absolutely, we can definitely do a brief channeling. But
Okay.
um, but before I go into that, I'd like to just give just a few little self-help tips. Now we've explained to you, what it means to be in the head and what it means to be in the heart. So if you can sort of understand that, every time you're overthinking or you're being too logical or you're reasoning too much or you're trying to fix problems or you're trying to be defensive, that means you're in the mind.
Mhm.
If you are operating from a space of compassion, empathy, pure love, when I say pure love, I talk about the unconditional kind, not the transactional love that we experience, that we see in day to day existence. So the unconditional love, meaning you can say anything, but I still love you.
Mhm.
That kind of love. And that's the kind of love the divine has for each one. And
Mhm.
that's something I experienced from the near death experience from being out of the body, is that unconditional love that was so much there, and that my soul was sort of enveloped in that loving energy. So we don't have to have a near death experience to be receiving that energy that exists here. And so when we connect to those divine energies that are there, actually they're there for everybody. Now you're thinking, oh, but only Monica can, tap into it. But no, we all have it. But in order for us to get there, we really have to understand the mind and its hold on us. It has a hold. It keeps us captivated. It keeps us in a state of bondage. And so for us to literally say, okay, hello, mind, you're like this computer. And I'm not going to take the computer in my kitchen and in my bathroom and in my bedroom and everywhere else. I'm going to use you when I need you.
Mhm.
But for the most part, all I need is my inner self, my heart, which is connected to the higher aspects of me. So when we talk about the heart, there's one quick message that I'd like to share with everybody. When we talk about the heart, we're not really talking about the organ heart. The organ heart is a separate part of you. It's part of the body. So, like in my case, when the body died, right, clinical death, the heart would die too. So, a lot of people may be wondering, you're emphasizing heart being so important, but when the body dies, shouldn't the heart die with it? True. The organ heart will die with the body. But what we are referring to, and I have to make this very clear, is we're not talking about the organ heart. We're talking about the spiritual heart that resides. If you were to ask me, what is the location of it? It really, there is no location, but we can sort of guide you as to where it might be. It sits in the center of your sternum, in the center of your chest, right here, in the breastbone, right there. And it may appear like a very stiff, stuffed place, but the more energetically we can hit it and
Mhm.
tap into it, there is an endless, it's almost like a road, as if you take a road and take it through the entire globe, coiled into a tight little ball, pushed in there. That's like that. In the center of the heart feels like the endless, infinite coils. It's really infinite. We talked about just like the entire globe, but maybe, let's say beyond the globe, maybe going into the galaxies and going into all of space, that space is endless. So wound up like that, like tiny, this is how it's appeared here.
Mm.
And once we go into that little space, it takes us, it's almost like like a flower blooming and endless petals. There's no end to how many petals there can be in this big flower. Like that growth potential is endless. It could take lifetimes before we can reach to where we have to go.
Mhm.
And that takes us into more divine healing and connection
Mhm.
and growth, our own growth.
Mhm.
And we realize that everything that we've been through in this lifetime, or maybe even previous lifetimes, have all been because those experiences are shifting us to home,
Mhm.
our final home. And that is where we've reached the fullest potential, our fullest potential. And that is where also the love is endless. It can never die. And it's not dependent upon how somebody treats you or not.
Mhm.
And I think the more we are aware of that, the more we know about this. And when we see each other as souls, I think that really helps, as opposed to seeing each other through our ego states. That has been very helpful too when I've shared this with other people, is how important it is to look at each one as souls, as pure souls.
Mhm.
And then you immediately drop all of the angst and all of the egos and all of the, I'm better than you, the envy, the jealousy, anger, hatred, everything will be dropped the
Mhm.
minute we see ourselves as those pure souls. That's where we are meant to go.
Mhm.
So I hope this is helpful, but I'd like to, fulfill my tease, as you rightfully said, Wendy. How do we get into a state where each of you can practice this on a regular basis? The first thing you would do is really, really, really engage in slow, deep breathing. And the breathing that I employ in my work is a diaphragmatic breathing, different from the yogic breathing, where you breathe in and out from your nostrils. This one, we're breathing in from the nostrils and releasing the breath through our mouth. And sometimes we also ask to make a sound like,
Mhm.
ah,
Mhm.
because when you release the breath like that, you're allowing all the energies we've accumulated through the day from the past week, more immediate ones, and we're releasing it, and we're sending that energy out into the atmosphere so
Mhm.
that it gets transmuted, that energy gets taken in and converted into bright, positive, healing light. And it turns around and comes back into your space and refuels. So you have the
Mhm.
exhalation where you're sending all the breath out. And when you re inhale again, new breath comes in through your healing, through your breath. But then when we send it out like that, new energy also comes from the divine. That positive light comes in through the divine and it fuses in with that breath and it opens up new channels.
Mhm.
So we all have these amazing channels that we have within our systems. There's 7 most commonly known ones, but there are many, many, many more than that. And over the time of my work, we've been shown so many different energetic centers, also known as chakras. And each one has a different purpose and how they impact certain organs. If they're part of the 7 main energetic centers, they impact our organs physically. But as we go deepening into it, it also goes far beyond the physical body. So let's do this together. This might help you. Is to first take slow, deep breaths in. Let's take slow inhale and exhale. Let's take another slow, deep breath in. Inhale, exhale. As you're exhaling your breath, you will start to feel some tingling sensations in your body. So some of you may feel tingling sensations in your feet, in your ankle. Somebody will feel something in the ankle on the right side, inner ankle. And it may feel like it's piercing, like something is pushing it, piercing it. You may feel it on the right side of the ankle as well, both sides, right and left side of the ankle. And then slowly it starts to rise up. You can feel the energy as you're breathing in. The breathing will never stop. You'll keep the breathing going. Feel the breath rising up, 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 all the way, coming into your lungs and rising up into your scalp. Slowly, when you exhale your breath, all of it is quickly as if it's compressed and it's sent down. And as it compresses, as if your rib cage also elongates as you're sending all the excess energies out. You're sending it out. So you're sending it out. Where is this energy going? Don't worry about where it's going. Just know that it's being sent out of your system. It's going out into the universe. And then it comes back into your space fully, as if all the negativities have been discharged into the earth, as if it's automatically discharged and it comes back into your space and you feel the beautiful, loving light coming into your body. It comes from the earth, it comes from the atmosphere, it comes from every source. It actually also mainly comes from your heart and the heart, as if the heart is showing up as fragments opening one portal. The one portal then opens into the next one, into the next one. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. So we're going to relax that space now, really relaxing it. And as we bring the breath in again, the third or fourth or fifth time we bring the breath in, we're allowing this breath to go into the mind. Now, the mind may appear to be, in your case, you might feel that the mind is a little bit flexible. It's rigid sometimes and it's open sometimes. So that's why it's flexible. It has the ability to move from one space to the next. And when it stays in a rigid pattern, it appears like there are these thoughts that are always coming to you, 10,000 thoughts every second, 10,000 thoughts every minute, or endless thoughts that keep coming. And you know when you feel that you are in your mind because you feel like you are in a like a hamster on a wheel, that the wheel is spinning, but the wheel is not going anywhere. And many a times we feel exhausted and tired when we find ourselves in the mind throughout the entire day because we are processing and over processing and analyzing and doubting and operating from fear, wondering if I don't do this, dot, dot, dot. These are all the thought processes that really, really emerge from the mind. So, the best way for us to disconnect from the mind is by paying attention to those thoughts. Many a times when we dissociate ourselves from those thoughts and we neglect it and we really, really ignore it, what it does is that those thoughts become far greater, like a monster, just it takes over your existence and it really starts to impede on your peace, your peaceful state, and the joy that you already have within the joy. But all of those thought processes can sometimes shut down the natural sources that we already have. We have a well of this amazing energy that resides within us. So now, as we're working with this energy, what it's also doing is that as we're channeling, there are these threads that are coming out. You may feel them as threads or you may feel them as veils. These veils are slowly coming out of your mind. The mind is becoming less and less and less heavy and dense. So, as these layers are coming out, you may feel these layers slowly coming out and they're falling down at your feet, just around the place where you felt the discomfort in your right foot, where the right inner ankle resides, and the right side of the foot, right foot, but where the external part of the ankle resides. We have two. So they both are now as if they're two sides of a coin, and they're working like that because they are just finding that balance. Yes, it's only happening on one foot. So now there is this ball of energy. You can visualize a ball just like a ball that you played with when you were young. A ball that is soft, that is malleable, like a Nerf ball. We all have played with a Nerf ball. Imagine that there is a Nerf ball that is bouncing between the mind and the heart. So, where is the mind? We are in the mind all the time, most of the time. We can visualize this mind space to be somewhere behind your eyes. If you can just bring your awareness from the front of your eyes to just go inside it, a little bit inside it. And yes, your breathing is normal now. You're breathing normally. You're not holding your breath. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Just feeling the energy going inward behind your eyes in a space that is suspended between where your scalp at the back of it, the parietal lobe is, and where the frontal lobe is, somewhere smack in the middle of it. As if you're taking a line and drawing a line from the center of your scalp, center of your head, all the way going down. And then it runs parallel to the side, like a horizontal line. And the place where the two lines meet up, it's somewhere in the middle. This is where you might find yourself when you are in the deep thinking process. This is where the mind is. So every day, if you can find this spot is a very special spot where the thoughts come and they really, really shift you off the course. So let us find this place now and create a demarcation so to speak, like a space within the space where we can find elements of nature that you find most connected to. Elements of nature, and you can put those elements in here that you find most peaceful. It could be a tree, a specific tree that you have a strong connection to. It can be a plant, it can be a flower, it can be a mountain, it could be a body of water someplace, maybe behind your house, or it could be a place of body of water where you have found tremendous peace in, or it could be a stone, anything in a natural realm. Anything in the natural realm. So we're going to take about 3 elements and place it in this space right now. So this is like we're creating a mind within the mind. Mind is always known as a place where so many negative energies crowd. So we are now able to now feel the space, the mind within the mind, where the space is just about on the outskirts of the mind here. And each time we breathe in and out, find this place here to breathe into and out, as if you're finding this breath, deepening the breath into this space, in and out. And then when you have to go back into the mind, when you have to think and we have to analyze, we're using it for work, you will feel that need to quickly jump back into this sacred space very quickly. This is how you know that you're making that quick transition. It's a bridge. This is the bridge that takes you down, down into the heart. And when you dip into the heart from this space, this is like the neutral space. And when you're falling into the heart, then you know that that crazy mind, that the outer part of the mind, the conscious mind, cannot reside, cannot pass through that gateway in order for it to go into the heart. And here in the heart, you find color and peace and joy and bliss and harmony. And yes, abundance, abundance where we come from. We live in an abundant universe. There's so much and for everybody. There is no shortage. When you live from the mind, we always live in a state of shortage. There are only X amount of CEO jobs. There are only X amount of money for everybody. And we're always clamoring and reaching for it because there's a shortage. But when we live from the heart, though, this space is reminding us that you are loved forever. Nothing that you can do or say can ever take this loving energy away from you. And as we feel this abundant state that we live in, we connect to that abundant nature that exists within us. It's a part of us that is forever, always present, omnipresent, omnipresent, omnipotent. And this divine that we refer to as this divine is a part of us, as it is a part right there. So that connection is now already solidified. We have channeled the energy for you, each one of you that tries this healing meditation. You will feel a direct link and a sync toward your heart. And we are asking each one that you start to live your life from this space of empathy, compassion, peace, and love, always and in all ways. Blessings to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. May the unconditional love stay within you and wash away anything that is not at the highest frequency. Blessings. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute. Thank you to the energies, and thank you to you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for having us here.
It's my pleasure. And how do you feel when you come out of a channel, Monica?
It takes a split second, but it's amazing. And right now, what I feel is I think there's some energies that are still in the heart that is trying to release for all of you. You know, when we channel, it's almost like it is tapping into not just this moment, but all of the people that will have a chance in the future, you know, what we know as the present and the past and the future. It feels like we're on a singular timeline, like a linear timeline, but time and space do not occur in a linear way, that it just exists in everything. Time as we know it is everything, as if it's all happening at one time. The word time feels very shallow when we say it because it's not as how it seems. And what we feel at this point is that everybody who is destined to hear this healing meditation, this channeled healing meditation, even for those individuals that will listen to it, we are tapping into their spaces and releasing some of those negative energies that hold them captivated. This body serves as that conduit to release everybody's energies that they don't need anymore, that no longer supports them. And as you continue on with this journey of head to the heart, blessings to you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Monica, are you still with the energies?
Yes.
Yes, we had a very devastating day yesterday in the United States. Is there anything that the energies are saying about some of the current events or some of the things that are happening right now?
Absolutely, yes. What the energies are saying, thank you, energies, for your guidance, for your wisdom, for this direct relation as we are connecting to everybody here, particularly the family that has been so deeply devastated, immediate family, but also all of us as we are in a collective space. We are hurt, we are beyond devastated, and the divine light is here for every one of us in balancing all the negativities and all the pain that we are all suffering right now. This divine light is working on each one of us, not just in our country, but as it goes into the entire universe. This divine light is pouring into each one of us and spreading it so fast that we will begin to learn. This is a pivotal time right now where we are asked to, this is now or never, where we all have to start operating from the space of heart so that love may reign. Love and love and love is all that is. May it spread exponentially to everybody here. Blessings, blessings. Thank you. Thank you.
Monica, before we close, I just want to say thank you so much for your work that you doing in the world. And I know it makes such a difference in the lives that you touch and all around. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Just a quick message, just to reiterate everything that Wendy has said and we have connected to on today's work, is to continue to find yourself, continue to be very dedicated and committed to knowing who you are. And once we really, really know that, once we know who we truly, truly are, we will see the world so differently and the world will operate differently from where it is today. It is now or never. It is time is of the essence. We've got to move in this direction of living from the heart. That's all I can say right now. This is all that the energies are repeatedly speaking is we have got to, there's no other time than now for us to all, this is in our best interest and for our children and the children's children. We've got to work at living life from a state of pure unconditional love.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you. If someone's listening and wants to find out more about you and the work you're doing, where can we look?
Um, I have a website. It needs tremendous work, but I have a website. And the best way to reach that is by going to graphoria.com. That is graphoria.com. Also, you can reach me on my email, graphoria@graphoria.com. Graphoria is a marriage of two words, graph coming from graphics or art, and phoria coming from euphoria. That is something that I experienced in the out of the body state.
Thank you again, Monica, for all your beautiful work.
Thank you for all the beautiful work that you are doing in this world by your amazing podcasts and different people you're bringing on the platform and the amazing work you're doing through your foundation. So thank you to you as well.